I've been out of the country. I'm from Baghdad, Iraq as well. I've been outside the country for about 17, 18 years.
مهم.
Um,
بغداد
I miss it.
بقلبي. Hello everyone, welcome to Podcasty, episode 0, I think. We are very excited to start this show. There is Baha.
And there's Noor.
We will do a little introduction. My name is Baha Amr. أنا مولود ببغداد العراق. صار لي بأمريكا تقريبا 10 سنين. واليوم يوم كلش مهم بحياتي. ليش؟ لأنه أنا أحب أجواء التصوير والميديا كلها هذه. فأنا كلش interested بالميديا sector.
Please hire
وإن
her.
شاء الله وإن شاء الله راح نكون مواصلين وياكم برحلة طويلة من بودكاستي.
بالضبط. اليوم يوم كلش يعني ما أعرف is very special عليهم شخصيا لأنه هذا البروجكت تعبنا عليه هواية.
صح.
And it's been in the making for the longest I can remember.
مهم.
قبل لا يبدي COVID I would say.
صح.
صار كم سنة.
إيه.
So, simple things. You think you just want to start a podcast. Like just, get a mic. But it's not that simple for all my podcasters out there. But here's Podcast Tea. And the essence of this podcast is basically talking about, a lot of things that maybe not a lot of people talk about or it's not getting that much attention out there. And on this show, of course, you'll have Baha. You'll have me. I'm Noor, as you guys seen in the intro. And there's Shally. She's currently in San Diego. But she will be on some of these topics. Some of these topics will have also guests in there.
Different guests.
It depends on the topic. So that way we can share information, be fun, and, we want to be just an easy listening podcast. Something you can just turn on and be like, and just go about your day.
Yes.
Maybe you're driving to work right now or, you just put your baby to sleep and you just want something to listen to. And thanks for clicking on the first episode ever. This is a baby episode.
Yes.
So yeah, this is gonna be, I would say, brief. It would be kind of a little background about the tea. In every episode, we will have kind of information about every kind of tea we
Yes.
drink because there's a lot of types and we give a little background history and then we hop into the story. That
Mhm.
way you guys kind of know what to expect here, but
Yes.
different topics, exciting topics.
We will get as much teas as we can.
Yeah.
So, and we will taste it for you guys and tell you, hey, if this tastes good or not.
Yeah.
But it will show some information that, it will be helpful for you to decide if you want to try this kind of tea or not.
Starting from this one. So I'm
Starting
pretty sure in the
from-
beginning.
from the one we have right here. This is the Iraqi tea. شاي أبو الهيل هذا. إذا مو أبو الهيل
It's
ترى هو مو شاي. فمهيل ومضبوط. اوكي. حنبلش اليوم. حلقتنا راح تكون عن الشاي وتاريخ الشاي.
Before you start, I just remembered to introduce myself completely. I just went about the show because I'm really excited about the show. But my name is Noor. I'm 12 years old. Just kidding. No.
شو تريدين تصيرين من تكبرين عمو؟
دكتورة. No, but I actually, so I love creating so much. And I'm trying this year. I think we both feel it's going to be our year in creating.
إن شاء الله. يا
And
ربي.
we're just excited. And yeah, I love creating so much. I love talking so much to people. And I love to just make a lot of connections. That's who I am. If you
One of
find
the
me somewhere,
reasons.
stop me. Be like, hey, Noor, I've seen
Yeah.
your episode. Or, hey, share your opinions with us in the comments and all that.
Yeah.
But I've been out of the country. I'm from Baghdad, Iraq as well. I've been outside the country for about 18 years.
مهم. بغداد
I miss it.
بقلبي.
But we migrated here with my
Yes.
family, and I've been here since a young age, and it's been amazing to me and personally, and I think it feels great to finally have something going as a podcast. So share it with your friends, share it with your family, subscribe, please, because this will show so much support to something we're finally doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. So yeah, in this episode we will talk about tea and the culture of tea over the years, and how the culture of tea have evolved over the years. So Noor, tell me about tea. Where did tea come from? How did people find about, like, this is tea, it's gonna be put in a hot water to give it a color and give it a taste and a smell?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So we do stuff every day, but we don't think of the origins. But whenever you think about who's the founder, who started this, like sometimes you just have weird questions like, who made the first book or something like that. So with the tea, while I was searching, I was pretty fascinating that the first time ever somebody, which it was a Chinese legend, so it was founded in China, at a region in southern China. It's called Yunnan, and
Mm-hmm.
by a Chinese emperor, and they're saying it's a legend, so that means there's a truth to it, and there's
So
some
it's a theory, basically.
mythical
Yeah.
story behind it. But basically, he was a person that tries a lot of different medicines. He would come up with medicines, and by medicines, of course, it was plants back in the day. So he was basically boiling his water, and then a leaf came from a tree, it fell in. He liked the color of it. He's like, something new to try, and he drank it. And then from there, he started doing infusions. So he was an emperor. There's a different story. If you guys search, it says his servant was boiling water. Every time you search about this, you get like different kind of stories, but I believe that one the most because he always experimented to make medicine. So
Mhm.
I assume you would experiment yourself, and instead of your servants experimenting for
Exactly,
you,
yeah. Yeah.
But it was founded 5,000 years ago.
Woo.
Long time.
Very long time. Yeah.
Yeah, and he liked it, and from there, he infused it. But the Japanese people were the one that brought a lot of variety out of it. As we know, there's black tea, there's green
There's a
tea,
green tea, all the other
there
ones.
is, I think, oolong tea.
Mhm.
There's all type of teas, but
What is the name of the tree of the tea?
Camellia sinensis, I think, or something like that.
Something like that. We will put
Camellia.
a
We'll put
picture
a
and a
picture for
name.
it. It's a very pretty plant, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen the picture. It's very pretty and it's very green. You never think you would see like a black leaves,
Yes, yes.
or even the green tea leaves. They don't look as green as much.
No.
They look like a little dark.
And the more I researched, actually, the tea comes from 2 to 3 plants, like from the Camellia sinensis. I think I'm saying it right. I
Okay.
hope.
Yep.
But it's processed. The processing is different. So
Oh, okay.
so it is all from the same plant. Like the foundation, it comes from the same tree.
Mhm.
However, it gets processed differently to make those variety of teas that we have today: the green tea, the white tea,
Right.
all that kind of stuff, the black tea. But as I was saying, Japan took it to another level. Of course, as you know, tea was super expensive, so it was only to the elite people. And Japanese elites, the emperors, they took it to another level. So first it started with monks and people that do like Buddhism and Zen. They would use it for meditation.
Okay.
And then from there, they took it, and if you were rich back in the Japanese days, you would have a different tea room, and it would be called the chashitsu. So I know it's really cool.
But it's cool, but for some reason it's reminding me of the dog's breed,
I know.
the Shih Tzu
Shih
dogs.
Tzu.
Right?
I love dogs so much. I'm a dog person.
She loves
But
dogs so much.
I
Like
love
she can
dogs.
connect dogs to anything, and now guess what? It's getting connected to
Yeah.
the tea.
To the T. Bringing
Somehow,
dogs in
dogs are
everything.
involved with the tea now.
Yes.
Okay.
But the Chashitsu
Mm-hmm.
room, so if you, it's separated from their house. So let's just say this is your house. The Chashitsu would be across the street, for example. You'd
Okay.
have a separate room
Separate room.
built
Ooh.
only for that, for a tea ceremony where your people can come gather.
Tea ceremony?
Yeah, it
Ooh.
would be prepared. You will. There's a certain way to prepare it,
Okay.
and enjoy it in a certain way.
Mm.
There's like a kind of tradition behind it because that's how much they believe in the harmony tea brings,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think, it's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
And
And I think that's something, we personally do. Like
Yeah.
when we drink tea, we don't like. I'll never drink tea by myself.
right,
It just doesn't make sense.
it's sad,
It
but you
does-
can.
I can, but usually when we do like a pot of tea, like it's around people.
Yeah,
There are some people who are going to sit down and drink tea together.
call a friend, like, hey,
You know?
wanna come have tea with me?
Exactly, and it creates that environment of, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
I know, like, now things are different with the technology and phones and everything, but that's something I really like about what the tea creates, like for families and friends, and like gathers people all together. And then I think tea was reached Europe. It got to England, right? And then over there again, tea was expensive.
It was.
You can't right now. We can get a 1 kg for $8-9, but back then it was very expensive and was considered a commodity
Yes.
also,
Yes.
which is to me is insane.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the royal families in England, they were drinking that tea, and now like like when you talk about tea, oh, is it English breakfast tea?
Yeah.
That's the main kind of
Yeah.
very famous tea is the English breakfast. That's
Right.
the first thing that comes into mind,
Mhm.
and to people also. And over the years, the British they started drinking tea in the afternoon too. So instead of beside the morning,
Yeah, that's where like the tea time came into place.
exactly, the tea time came into place where they started having a light meal, but it's built based and mainly on tea.
That
So
came.
tea,
yeah.
so tea like and a piece of cookie or like biscuit or cake, whatever we want to call it. And they dip it,
Yeah.
and that's something that to me is
I read
very
about
interesting.
that. Like
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I did read about that. It says the seventh Duchess, which the seventh Duchess of Bedford
Mhm.
in England, because tea didn't get to Russia after Japan till the 15th century, and throughout the Silk Road, right?
Yes, of course.
It got to England in the 17th century,
Mhm.
but it got only, as you said, to the elite people. But how it got there, the seventh Duchess, I think her name was Anne of Bedford, she would
Mhm.
get hungry,
Mhm.
and then she actually wanted to eat, but there's only breakfast, and she didn't want to wait for the next meal.
Yep.
So her introducing tea time at 4 p.m. kind of every day.
Yeah, it was something like between 3 to
Yeah.
5, something like that. Yeah.
She would ask her friend to come,
Mm-hmm.
and then that dragged all the servants to prepare dinner so super late because now she's
Yeah.
full because she's accompanying her drink with a cake or cookie,
Yeah.
as you said,
Mm-hmm.
like most of us do and enjoy doing. But she made that a tradition.
Yep.
So 4 p.m. is tea time, and that's why England and they're super big on tea because she started that.
Yeah. So after that, I think Persia, Turkey, and the Middle East got introduced to tea too.
Yeah.
The Turkish people are crazy about tea.
Mm-hmm.
They consume so much.
They
I
do.
did the research. It says that one Turkish person consumes 1,000 cup every single year,
I believe that.
and this is at least like 3 to 4 cups a day,
Yeah.
and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense because we personally بالعراق أنا أتذكر نقعد الصبح نتريق ويانا شاي يجي الظهر الدنيا حارة
Yeah.
تصمت صمت اوكي
Doesn't matter.
ونتغدى والاكل حار وما اعرف ايش وقسوت ورا هذا الحر وما ادري شنو نشرب شاي حار هذا ثاني واحد اوكي
Yeah.
وبعدين عصريه تصير الغفوه and then نقعد العصر همينا نشرب شاي وكعك وبعدين يجي العشاء نتعشى وهمينا وراها شاي
Chef
تعلوله
chai, yeah.
you know so this is 4 times and it makes sense and it's funny how like we build things around tea too يعني مثلا مسألة إنه نسهر بالليل السهرات مالتنا كلها
تعال اشرب
تعال اشرب شاي يا معود
Yeah.
حول اشرب شاي حول اشرب شاي
Come over,
ف-
drink some tea.
بالضبط yeah beside that I remember when like, you know when I was a kid نسوي glasات كبيرة مال شاي okay
Around that big.
maybe bigger than this probably I don't
By
know
the way, our parents didn't like us drinking tea at a young age. That
Yeah.
wasn't something welcomed as much, but they see you doing it and they try to look the other way because, like, they do it in front of you like 5 times a day.
yeah exactly so like I'd be hungry you know running around and with my
Yeah.
friends in the streets and all of that and then I come back home there's no way I'm gonna ask my mom to make some
me a
food right
meal.
now this is not gonna happen so but guess what there's a leftover of tea okay I can pour it in a cup
Black, pitch black.
so
'cause it's
so
really
dark
leftover.
so dark كلش طاخ هذا الشاي and then guess what there is always bread
Yes.
we
yes.
never run out of
Iraqi
bread Iraqi bread is always there either خبز لو صمون
Yes.
and I just dip that thing in there and eat it as a meal اكو خبز اكو كعك اكو صمون doesn't matter اكو فد شيء
Everything. goes
لازم
together.
نغمس احنا ما نقدر like this is something
خبز
in the blood
there.
خبز there يبقى لفته
كعك there.
كل شيء شنو ببالي كيك عادي كلش طبيعي
Oh, come on.
والله كلش طبيعي
تمن مرقة.
imagine تخيلي لو تصير كان سويناها بس ما تصير فيا that was something you know I always remember يعني جتي فترة مثلا
It was
My
so
mom-
tasty.
huh
It was so tasty, the bread and tea.
oh,
Guys, do me a favor. Do me a favor.
yeah
Go, please. Just and listen. Go to the closest market to you, okay? I don't know where you guys live, but if there's preferably Iraqi bread, if you get your hands on one piece, buy it. And then go home, make black tea, okay?
you remember you gotta put sugar
Put sugar. Don't make it too sweet, but make it sweet.
yeah
okay?
but make it sweet yeah
And then dip the Iraqi bread. If closest to Iraqi bread will be naan. I'm pretty sure. Is it Pakistani or
yeah I
think.
yeah
and dip that in it, but preferably Iraqi, and just take a bite and think of us.
I can tell you something else to do is shred the bread
But the tea is hot.
yeah
Tea has to be hot.
right another way you can do it don't just dip it
Making me hungry.
shred all the bread and put it in that cup
Mm-hmm.
give it a couple minutes not a lot of minutes
Yes.
like I would say
Eat it like an oatmeal.
exactly 2-3 minutes and you're gonna love this like this is gonna be probably your snack
Make it, if you work out and you're on a healthy streak, just make it like a once a week, because it's bread. Like, it's going to be a cup like this of bread and black tea.
yeah
But it's so good. Like,
it's really good.
It's a simple things that didn't cost much money, but it made us really full and happy. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
one of them. Just tea and bread, Iraqi bread.
yes
So good.
really good yeah that's insane
Good memories.
very good memories of course there is something else I like too.
Mm-hmm.
Is نضيف حليب نيدو للشاي.
That's occasionally for me. I know you love
I love it so much. I don't know why, بس يعني موضوع انه الحليب ميكست ويا الشاي
Yeah.
وبعدين يصير هيجي قشوه اللي فوق مال الحليب.
I don't eat gishwa, I just lied.
So good.
I don't eat gishwa.
I know, بس يعني هي تصير like it gets created because
I'm gonna put it aside.
see, people, not everybody likes it. But here's the thing though. You know, like in the بدول الخليج مثلا عندك السعودية إمارات قطر
Right.
بحرين عمان, they are crazy about chai karak.
Yes,
You know?
Shally, she hearing us right now.
Yes.
She is big on karak. She might have her own karak, and we'll put a picture of what karak is. It's spiced tea.
It's spiced. It has saffron, cardamom,
Yeah.
I think processed milk,
Yeah, it
and
has-
black tea. There
yeah.
are so many things, and it needs to be like heated at a specific temperature. Like
Yeah.
very so much details.
So much
It's
chemistry.
really good. Yes, it's really good too. So probably, I think the Pakistani and Indian, like that's where it came
Yeah,
from.
I see
Like the
they-
karak.
Probably.
Yeah, I think
it was-
that's the origin. The
yeah,
origin of it.
I think so too.
Yeah, and then this is to me that like the Eastern culture, tea is always hot. Tea is always
Black.
not
Not always, but yeah.
Yeah, most of the time it's a black tea.
Yeah.
But then you come to the West, things change
They do change.
dramatically. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I remember like I landed in JFK
Yes.
October 2012, I think. I went to drink something, you know. I've been on a long flight from Amman.
You want to get hydrated.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
13, 14 hours flight.
Those flights.
Yeah, I landed at JFK. I was like, you know what? Let me go to a grocery store. Let me get something.
Right.
I go and I look at the fridge, and I see those bottles and cans that says iced tea. I'm like,
Like, what they doing with the tea here?
iced tea? What are you guys doing?
What happened?
What are you guys doing to the culture here?
I'm calling my mom on you. They're having iced tea over here.
You know, like why iced tea? Why you put ice in there? Why you think it's better to be served cold? And guess what? That was not enough.
Did you drink it when you saw it?
No, I was disgusted.
you
Yeah,
were-
I was like,
You
"No."
just saw the name and you were like, turn off. No.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I look at it and it says like iced tea, and then the other one it says peach iced tea.
You're like, what is going on?
That was my face, literally.
You're like, no.
What are you doing, guys? Okay, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna come close to it.
Yeah.
Tea to me is a tea. Let me get something else. I got something, probably water or something. I
Maybe
don't remember
coffee.
exactly, but I know for sure I didn't get that iced tea. But then I think iced tea was first made in the U.S. When was that? In 1904, I think.
1904, yeah. And
1904. There was a festival kind of thing in St. Louis.
in St. Louis.
Yeah,
That's how it
In
happened.
St. Louis, somebody was like, "Oh, it's too hot. We can't do the hot tea. Let's pour some ice in
Somebody brought samples at that kind of like a fair, okay?
it." Yeah,
And then he was passing samples, but there was a heat wave that hit. And people are not going to buy hot
Mm.
tea, and it's just hot.
yeah.
By the way, in Middle East, this guy would have still made money. People would have still bought it. But in USA, they're like, no, things just don't make sense, you know?
yeah.
But he ended up dumping bunch of ice with the tea samples, and here iced tea was born.
Till exists till now. There's so many brands, so many flavors.
We'll put his name or his picture if we find it.
Yeah. And like even like thinking about it right now,
Mhm.
it's like why that much of flavors was created. It's still black tea,
Right.
but they put that peach, they put that strawberry lemonade, they put that strawberry kiwi, watermelon, peach iced tea.
So
And to me, this sounds like they want to sell more. They want people to like something new beside the black tea that they are
It's
already selling.
infusions, right?
Yes.
Which I would say it's making it fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Making it very fun, making it something that people can connect with. You like peach, but this is ice peach. So you eat peach every day. Try this tea that made with flavor. It's kind of just getting more people to try it, but I think it stayed there. You know,
Yeah, it stayed there
Um,
because, people are actually liking it. The Westerns.
but
If you take
here's
this back home,
they'd be
it
like,
will sit on the shelf for a while.
my grandparents gonna look at me and be like, cute.
How about you put the teapot on the stove right now?
Get us another teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking. So if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
China, a lot of tea is planted there, right?
Yeah.
Sri Lanka,
Mm-hmm.
Argentina, all these regions that they're big, just farms. They come up, they produce so much tea,
Right.
but the consumption is even in different countries, not the same countries. So the most regions that consume tea,
Mm-hmm.
it's saying Middle Eastern countries, and then Russian,
Okay.
and then European. And on the last is USA. But it's mostly
Mostly.
Asian countries in the Middle East. But Middle East consumes it more than they produce it,
Mm-hmm.
because to us it's a whole ritual. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole, hey, let's have tea and talk deeply about what's going on. Or let's have tea and plan something. Or we always think of tea is like your best friend in Middle East. This is how I feel it.
Yeah.
Because when you think of tea, you're not thinking, I need to get this homework done. And I know you asked me the other day, you're like, we were talking about tea and coffee. We had a conversation. And then we were trying to put
Yes.
the differences.
Yes. Coffee, honestly, like if I want to get something done,
Yeah.
let me get that couple shot espresso.
3 shots.
Yeah. And then I'll get something done in a timely manner. Okay. But with tea, it's more like I want to get my thoughts together.
Mhm.
You know, I want to sit down. I want to have a conversation. I know it has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
Okay, there is caffeine in it. This is a fact.
Mhm.
Okay, but I don't think it's as strong as coffee,
Mhm.
and even the impact of it. Like if I drink a full pot of tea, I don't think I will be like more energetic or like
You won't glitch.
I want I won't glitch. Like if I would drink 3 cups of coffee, you
should
know,
see me at
like
work.
I'll be tearing things apart if I want to because of the energy I'll
Heartbeat
have.
up, racing. With tea, that doesn't happen. You don't have caffeine crush with tea.
Exactly.
But with coffee, you do get caffeine crush after your second cup. Sometimes to some people, they are on their venti game every day. I think there's something larger than a venti. I
Is
forgot
there?
what it's called. Yeah, there is.
Really
Yeah, I think my friend told me the other day. I'm like, there's no way, but there is. Um,
interesting.
but yeah, so whenever you drink tea, if we have 3 pots right now and we just run this podcast for 6 more episodes, we're not gonna have caffeine crush. Maybe we're gonna be like, oh, we just drinking a lot of tea.
Yeah.
Like we'll be like, oh, we need something else, maybe something colder, but we're not gonna have that caffeine crush. It's kind of stabilizes us in a way. You don't feel that. So the difference between tea and coffee,
Mm-hmm.
coffee is I need to get some things done. Tea is let me just chill and have
Yeah.
a good conversation and think with myself,
Exactly.
or I don't know, just
Yes.
there. It's I don't know, it's easier.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about tea still,
Mhm.
and you were saying there was a room back in the day for people that it's called Beit Shai.
Beit Shai, yeah.
And when you told me
Just
that,
like the chashitsu in Japan.
yeah. So Beit Shai is like غرفة هيك صغيرة قاعدة different
Yeah.
بسيطة. It's designated for the family to sit
Yeah.
there and drink tea,
Yeah.
which is to me is
That's
mind-blowing.
another level of respect. Coffee needs to work on to get that. I'm sorry.
You
I
know-
love coffee, by the way. I drink coffee all the time,
We
but
all drink coffee, yeah.
but tea is just there's
It has its own vibe. You know?
not just vibe. It has to. It's true elegance. There's so much of. There should be a better
Yeah.
word. I
Like
can't come up
I
with one.
don't think I ever went to work
Mhm.
and I had a tea in my car.
Mm.
If you think about it. But
Yeah,
I can have the
coffee.
coffee anywhere.
Yeah.
I can have the cup of coffee sitting in my car, the drinking, sipping until I get to work, for example. You know, but I'll never do that to tea.
Yeah.
You know what I
get the
mean?
Macchiato and macchiato and mochaccino, tatachino, tatatino, latte, tate, all that. But the tea, it's like
I
black tea,
get-
green tea, matcha.
Yeah.
What else? There's a lot. And
Yeah.
of course the iced tea, the infusions. These are not teas.
Mm.
So I have some people, they come and be like, oh yeah, I'm drinking this tea, peach tingri lemonade. I'm like, stop. Time
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Time
Stop
out.
the
You need to stop.
bullshit. This is not tea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna whip you. No, but it's just and some people sometimes like, do you like tea? Like I ask them, my American friends, and they go like, tea?
Yeah.
I get that look.
Mhm.
But I think
Until they try it and they
they're
fall
like,
in love.
you have to prepare it in a certain way for you to enjoy it.
Yes.
And I don't blame like my American friends for not being so much into tea because it's a process to prepare
It's
the
not-
perfect
Mhm.
teapot, you know?
Yeah.
But if nobody's there to show them the beauty of the process so they
Mm.
can enjoy it in the right way, I don't blame them not having that exposure. But I think it's our jobs here through podcasting. We'll kind of, get them more into the know of how to prepare the perfect pot
Yeah.
of Arabian tea, because we learned a lot about the coffee, man. We really did.
Yeah, speaking of that, Noor, like I know some people, they have two pots. One they will put just water and heat the water in it,
That's what my
and then the
parents
other
do.
one, they put like the tea and then boil it for
Like
a little
kettle
bit.
for water. And, the
Yeah,
other
and then
one
they
is sweet
mix
spot.
until like they like it in a what level of
Certain way.
color, what
Yeah.
grade of color they like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
ضل نكاسر.
Yeah, نضل
If
نكاسر,
you get it
exactly.
bad.
نضل الكاسر إلى الآن. It's time to make a
what
new
kind
one.
of person you are. أنت من الأشخاص اللي يضلون يكاسرون لو من الأشخاص they get it right the first time.
I think أني ميزاني. I think, yeah, I get it from the right time, but from the first time. But here's the thing, though. The way I make tea personally, I don't use
You
a
do
water.
one pot.
I do one pot.
Yes.
One pot, and that's it.
Mhm.
I may miss the first one, like the first cup,
Mhm.
okay? But the second one, I know is going to be perfect. Because, like, راح يتخدر الشاي more. I don't know what يتخدر means in English, but it will sit
Simmer.
it will simmer, yes.
Yes.
Well, simmer sit for a longer time, for a couple more minutes
2
until...
to 3, 6 minutes.
Yeah, it depends. And then it will be darker a little
Not
bit.
super long, because
Not
if you
super
let
long.
it sit there, you're gonna cast it all the time.
Yeah,
and
you gotta
don't
cast it all the
wanna-
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, do you like your tea dark? I don't like it
If
too
I
dark.
put bread in it.
Listen, if we are talking...
If you doing the bread stuff I'm telling you about.
If we're talking 1996, and leftover tea is always dark as a
1996.
Coke.
Oh, like 90s thing. Yep,
Yeah, like when we were kids.
We were kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the one things I want. But you know what makes me like respect tea more than coffee?
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people that love coffee, they're gonna hate me. Please don't hate me. Is there? I got a point. But through the Silk Road, which that's how it got to the Middle East and everywhere. While I was reading, while it was getting, on like transferred from region to region, some of these caravans of camels, 200 to 300 camels,
Yes.
and it was part of the Silk Road, and they would travel over 16 months to travel 11,000 miles to get it from China all the way to like Russia and then to distribute it all the way down.
That's
mean,
insane.
People liked it that much, guys, to go through over 16 months of traveling, 300 camels more. I mean, like all
Yeah.
that to just make that perfect delivered tea.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like that's a lot. And people had, I mean, of course, they made a lot of money with it because back in the day it was a bit more expensive. Until we'll have a different episode about the Boston Tea Party and all that. That was just some more recent events that were happening with the tea, but we will go over that in a different episode. I don't want to lose that topic. But when you're thinking the Silk Road and how people got through all these, the tea merchants, they made so much money, right? Because people valued it so high.
True.
And even after the value of tea, will a lot of people, a lot of average people, working class can afford it, right? They never went out of business.
Yeah.
Because it's always in demand until this day.
Till this moment.
Till this moment.
Yeah. I know one of the places we go in Michigan, there is the tea person brings the tea for us after a meal there. And this guy makes it more entertaining. He's wearing like his Iraqi sidara and he's like wearing some kind of suit there.
Yes.
And then he start doing things with the cup
We should
and the
put a
plate.
video on the side.
Yeah, so I think we'll put a video in the end of the episode so you guys can watch it and see the things they do with. It's so fun. He's making a rhythm within like the teaspoon, الاستكان والماعون الصغير, and he's like doing things there and then pouring the tea from a high, from like a very high place, so like you can see like the water is pouring into that little cup there. But yeah, tea is fun. It's always fun.
It's always fun.
It's always good for you. If there's any tea company wants to sponsor this podcast, we're more than welcome. But yeah, Noor, it was a great talking to you about tea today.
Thank you. It was,
Yeah.
it was fun.
That was very fun. It flew by. I think 40 plus minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, we appreciate you watching. If you can hit that subscribe button for me, that would be great.
Follow us on, I don't know if it's
Yes,
here.
our podcast will be available on Spotify, Apple Podcast too, and if we add it to any other platform, if we add it to another platform, we will let you know, and we will put the links down below. Until then, we'll see you guys next episode.
On the first episode. This was just an introductory, so that way you guys kind of know what kind of rhythm this is gonna go. Of course, it's gonna be different topics, but we love tea, and we're just gonna share our love of tea through great topics and through upcoming episodes. So stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, and can't wait to talk to you guys and interact with all of you.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.